It's been a few weeks since I've last uploaded, and I think now is a better time than any to talk about my priorities right now. Number one is school. I go to the University of New Mexico. I'm trying to get my Bachelor's of Science in Nursing and just sort of complete the goal of becoming an RN. After that is work. Work pays the bills. It allows me to do triathlon, allows me to continue this hobby, as expensive as it may be. And after that comes triathlon and the goal of making it to the World Championships in both the 70.3 and potentially age group World Triathlon. But over the past month, education has been more of a priority than it already has been. I had finals, I had exams, I had projects, I had a ton of things going on. And because of that, I was spending a lot more time studying, preparing for tests, meeting with study groups, and otherwise just trying to make sure I can continue through school without any issue. Without getting into the specifics, the last couple weeks have been kind of a mixed bag of training. I had a week where I was extremely sick from sort of a stomach flu to then having a reaction to a medication, getting a full body allergic reaction to then a procedure on my gut, which kind of put me out of commission the night before, day of, and day after I was still recoiling, but I had a bad week there. Following that week, I had gotten injured as well. And then following that week was finals week. So kind of 3 weeks of not very consistent training, not very good training. But the best takeaway would have been that my swimming has been improving. I've been having a lot more confidence on the bike. I've done the majority of my runs now outside along the Bosque, up and down the Rio Grande, across to like the North Division channel here in Albuquerque, and just sort of spending more time getting comfortable to riding before. When I had done my last couple triathlons, I had maybe a half dozen or less road bikes versus everything else just being on the trainer or in the gym before I had gotten the bike over here. Just having more feel for how to run the bike felt way better. So that's one of the big pluses. Kind of the downside of that is that my bottle cages did break. So all I have left is the aero bottle that sits on my frame, but picked up a couple extra shifts at work and I'm gonna be doing some kind of hydration overhaul, planning to get just more bottle cages, sort of a different system altogether set up, so that hopefully I can continue to ride outside as the weather gets nicer and as things get closer to race day. What I'm extremely excited about now is now the finals are over, I could put a lot more time and effort into triathlon training. So the biggest thing I want now is to improve my ability on the hills. I have been using a couple of those Map My Run resources to try and find some courses I can do to try and simulate what it's going to be like on race day. For Ironman 70.3 Ruidoso, the hills are going to be the kind of the biggest challenge I'm going to be facing. So the bike course is essentially just downhill and then back uphill. 28 miles and change down, 28 miles back up. Not a very dramatic hill. It's about 1.8% grade. We'll be at extreme altitude, so not in love with that. So the run has about 1,600 feet of elevation gain, while the bike has 2,500 feet of elevation gain. So I found a couple routes. I can bike from my apartment and just kind of head down the Bosque, go up a couple side roads, and then head up one of our kind of main roadways that leads to a hiking route into the mountains. That will reach me up into around 7,000 feet, 7,500, kind of depending which resource I look at. But overall, it's 1,800, 2,000 feet of elevation gain. I'll have the screenshot up here now. But that's going to be a good long bike. It's 21 miles out, 21 miles back. That's a nice solid day. There's another really good bike path up there along the tramway road, so I can do the hill, continue to get some effort out, and then head back home, or start on the tramway road. Kind of can change it up just any day I want. But I will also be using this for running. I will start at the Sandia Casino and run from there to the La Luz parking lot, because that's the main hike. It's just the La Luz parking lot. That is about 10 kilometers up, and it's almost the exact amount of elevation gain I will be facing. So 10 kilometers of gain up, 10K back down, kind of maybe run a little bit further here or there, or up and down the road just to finish out like a half marathon distance. But overall, that's going to be really good training. So I'm looking to implement this maybe once every other week on my long run days. So not exactly attacking it hard, but attacking it while I'm fatigued. Because the day before, I'm still planning on doing more of a workout kind of day. Looking a little bit closer into the upcoming week, this is kind of what I want to replicate for the remainder of the summer before my fall classes start. Once those start, I'm back on clinicals, I'm back on, heavy with the homework. Working days, I'd mainly be training, but that's where my priorities come back into play. But here's what my next week's gonna look like, trying to replicate that for a little while on. Mondays are gonna be just kind of an easy day. I'm gonna go for an easy ride, looking to do roughly half or more of what my long ride is gonna be. So if I'm doing a 3-hour ride as my long ride, hour 20, hour 40, somewhere in that range, depending on the effort, feel, anything like that, along with throwing in a longer swim, easy swim. Minute 45 per 100 yard or slower, just working on technique, endurance, and more time in the pool. That's probably my biggest thing right now. Tuesday, I'm looking at a long bike mixed with a run at the end. This is where I'm gonna be riding up and down the Bosque, going up to La Luz, practicing those hills and just having time on the bike while practicing my riding fueling. So currently the hydration system is all kind of broken, but once I get that repaired, practicing with gels, practicing with fluid, and doing that while riding and trying to hold an adequate pace for a long time, that's gonna be my main idea for Tuesdays, followed by a run as quickly as I can off the bike. It's still gonna be kind of an easier run, trying to build that volume, but having that kind of mixture, running on dead legs, I think that's where I'm really gonna need to benefit. Wednesday is another swim day. That's going to be a swim workout, looking at 100s, 200s, 250s, anything like that, shorter breaks, just building speed and holding form while building speed so I can hopefully improve my swim. I'm looking to do about minute 40 per 100 yard in the actual Ironman itself, and then at Nationals hoping to do something even quicker because moderately shorter, not significantly, but shorter, have more time for a swim. I'm just looking to build speed overall. The other thing is that I will be doing a run after that. Again, mileage for the week, just getting time on foot, practicing, working out while I'm tired, I think is gonna be a huge benefit. As I talked about previously, Thursday is the main workout day. That's gonna be where I'm doing my tempos, my broken tempos, my fartleks, just building mileage while working even harder, trying to get my heart rate into those higher zones. As it gets hotter here in Albuquerque, I'm also going to be looking to train in the heat because Ruidoso is kind of a unknown weather-wise. We had a massive flood last year, so it could be a lot of rain on race day. We had fires there a couple years ago. Could also be just extremely hot and dry. I have no idea what to prepare for. Don't know how much I can trust. Things can change day of race, so practicing in as hard of conditions as I can to simulate what would happen on race day, I think could be to my best benefit. And nothing else on Thursday, just then recovering rest of the night. Friday is the long run that I talked about, where I'm looking to do hills or just something soft and just get the mileage, get the time out there. My coach has talked to me about adding tempo towards the end. So, I mean, if I'm going back down the hill, building up there and trying to get a high heart rate going would be great. Or if I'm on flat ground, if I'm going for a 90-minute run, last 30 minutes. If I'm going for a 2-hour run, maybe last 45 minutes, building up to a more tempo pace and changing, and as I'm getting tired, working from there. Saturday is going to be our main bike workout. If I'm on the Ruvi, I'm going to be looking at doing hillier courses, up and down, a lot of changes, and kind of building that strength. Or I'm going to be messing around with zones a lot. 90-minute ride with first 10 in zone 1, next 20 in zone 2, 30 zone 3, and then another 30 in zone 2. Has kind of been my main workout I've been doing, keeping that heart rate high and just kind of working up and down the Rio. Has been working well. Might be changing that up. That's something to talk to my dad, my coach about. So that's pretty much the week. And then Sunday is a lot of R&R, just rest, recover, and go for a little lift, nothing crazy, but kind of building that strength, building that injury prevention, kind of anything I can do to benefit that little bit more, but nothing aerobic. Just take the day off from stress. And that's pretty much all I've got. I will be back on Sunday to record this video again with an update on how my week went, any standout performances, and that's all I got. I'll see you guys then.